Good Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversations Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Tuesday. We have the truth of the day with Mary Elle Ciganovich, and in today's entertainment spotlight, you've been part of my conversation with author, life coach, and motivational speaker, Lisa W. Beckwith. Enjoy today's program. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Tuesday headlines. In national news, Colin Powell, trailblazing general, dies at age 84. Colin Powell, the trailblazing soldier and diplomat who served to Republican and Democratic presidents, has died. He was 84 years old. According to the family, he died Monday of COVID-19 complications. A veteran of the Vietnam War, Powell served 35 years in the Army and rose to the rank of 4-star general before becoming the first black chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. His oversight of the U.S. invasion of Kuwait to oust the Iraqi army in 1991 made him a household name, prompting speculation for nearly a decade that he might run for president, a course he ultimately decided against. Powell instead joined George W. Bush's administration in 2001 as Secretary of State, the first black person to represent the U.S. government on the world stage. In announcing Powell's death, his family said he had been fully vaccinated against the coronavirus. Powell's longtime aide said he had been treated over the past few years from multiple melanoma, a blood cancer that impairs the body's ability to fight infection. Studies have shown that those cancer patients don't get as much protection from the COVID-19 vaccines as healthier people. At the White House, President Joe Biden said Powell embodied the highest ideals of both warrior and diplomat. Noting Powell's rise from a childhood in a fraying New York City neighborhood, Biden said he believed in the promise of America because he lived it, and he devoted much of his life to making that promise a reality for so many others. Flags were ordered lower at government buildings, including the White House, Pentagon, and State Department. In more national news, the Associated Press looks at why COVID boosters weren't tweaked to better match variants. More COVID-19 booster shots may be on the way, but when it's your turn, you'll get an extra dose of the original vaccine, not one updated to better match the ultra-contagious Delta variant. And that has some experts wondering if the booster campaign is a bit of a missed opportunity to target Delta and its likely descendants. The simple answer: the FDA last month okayed extra doses of Pfizer's original recipe after studies showed it still works well enough against Delta, and those doses could be rolled out right away. Now the FDA is weighing evidence for boosters of the original Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Pfizer and Moderna are already testing experimental doses customized to Delta and another variant, learning how to rapidly tweak the formula in case a change eventually is needed for today's mutant or a brand new one. The tougher question for regulators is how they'll decide if and when to ever order such a switch. Vaccines used in the U.S. remain strongly effective against hospitalization and death from COVID-19, even after the Delta variant took over, but authorities hope to shore up waning protection against less severe infection and for high-risk populations. Studies show an extra dose of the original formulas revs up virus-fighting antibodies that fend off infection, including antibodies that target Delta. In more national news, crunch time, the Associated Press says Biden faces critical next 2 weeks for agenda. President Joe Biden's entering a crucial 2 weeks for his ambitious agenda, racing to conclude contentious congressional negotiations ahead of both domestic deadlines and a chance to showcase his administration's accomplishments on a global stage. Biden and his fellow Democrats are struggling to bridge intra-party divides by month's end to pass a bipartisan infrastructure bill and a larger social services package. The president hopes to nail down both before Air Force One lifts off for Europe on October 28th for a pair of world leader summits, including the most ambitious climate change meeting in years. In entertainment news, Betty Lynn, Thelma Lou on The Andy Griffith Show, has died. Betty Lynn, the film and television actor who is best known for her role as Barney Fife's sweetheart Thelma Lou on The Andy Griffith Show, has died. Lynn died peacefully Saturday after a brief illness, the Andy Griffith Museum in North Carolina announced in a statement. Lynn appeared as Thelma Lou on the show from 1961 until 1966. She reprised her role in the made-for-TV movie Return to Mayberry, in which Thelma Lou and Barney got married. And finally, in entertainment news, Kourtney Kardashian and Blink-182 drummer Travis Barker are engaged. A day at the beach turned into a proposal for Kourtney Kardashian, who is now engaged to Blink-182 drummer Travis Barker. Kardashian posted 2 photos on Instagram of the proposal with the caption "Forever." A representative for the reality star and businesswoman confirmed on Sunday that the couple are engaged. No other details were immediately available. It will be Kardashian's first marriage. She has 3 children with ex-boyfriend Scott Disick. It will be Barker's 3rd marriage. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's on time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Elle Ciganovich. Mary Elle, take it away.
Hi, this is Mary Elle with your Truth of the Day. Approach life with an open heart. For a long time, spiritual teachers have pointed to the heart as your seat of consciousness. Approaching life with an open heart means you open your consciousness to greater awareness. Doing this is as simple as shifting your attention onto your heart. When you make this a habit, you can shift your attention to your heart center anytime you feel worried, anxious, or in fear. Simply sit with your eyes closed. Draw your breath into your heart. As your breath expands your chest cavity, your heart expands and opens. You may feel sadness, tenderness, or relief as your emotions are healed. Today, open your heart to life's greatest treasures of patience, compassion, and unconditional love as you enjoy the day.
Lisa W. Beckwith is featured in today's Entertainment Spotlight, right here on Conversations Daily News. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Author, life coach, and motivational speaker Lisa W. Beckwith rejoined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, recently to talk about her amazing journey. Here's a bit of our conversation. I want to talk about what this experience has been like for you since you released your very first book, Food for Life. What has it been like for you to see the way that people have responded to your platform?
You know, Cyrus, it has been a great experience. I love the feedback that I received. Reading the messages and hearing the verbal conversations has been very overwhelming and full of joy for me.
And this whole thing for you, Lisa, I mean, as I mentioned, you have the new book that's out this year, Soul Searching Education, but you've written about a little bit of everything. You started off with Food for Life, as I mentioned, sharing a bit about your story, but also encouraging others. You then went on to give us a children's book as well. You've been a part of anthologies. Then, of course, you wrote in 2020 your book, God is Carrying Me, I Am His Warrior. Do you find that your books and your messages are pretty much surrounding what your life is actually like at the time?
Absolutely. It is actually my life. Food for Life was a part of me understanding the different stages of life and the things that I was going through. So having to write that book in the stages brought back a lot of kind of deep feelings that I didn't even know was there. So it did bring out some things in me to deal with, and I enjoyed the experience of going through the stages and really just being truthful about who I am and how and why I'm where I am in my life now.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. Prepare to guest on tomorrow's more news, Truth of the Day with Mary Elle Ciganovich, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let's make it a great one.